Hey, this is Brittany Griner from the Phoenix Mercury, and you listen to the 3-Point Conversion.
I will say that free throw discrepancy is something.
Thank you.
Jeff Magliochetti.
Hey, Coach. My question is, what was the difference between the first quarter and the rest of the game for you guys? Where did the team improve the most from the first to the second?
We just had more energy. We didn't come out with the level of energy necessary. We've been talking about it for 3 days. We haven't started games with the same edge. We're not a team that can walk out and cruise an autopilot without our edge. That's why we're so much emphasis on defense, so much emphasis on intensity and toughness. When we won the final 3 quarters, we won 3 quarters out of the 4 point wise. It's not to say we won them, overall, but in terms of point differential, but we spotted them 14 that first quarter. And really we just didn't look as intense as we need to. Our attention to detail wasn't great, and it looked a lot like the Atlanta game. They just weren't getting up. And you guys saw, as soon as they started playing with some energy and executing the coverages, things changed a little bit. But we can't start games, giving teams a 14-point lead. We just can't do it. And obviously credit to the Aces, because they played to their identity better than we did tonight.
What was Stokes doing better on Cambage in the paint out there? And how pleased were you overall with the bench effort tonight, particularly the performances of Rebecca Allen and Nay Odom?
Yeah, this was a really great game for Beck. Not only the shooting and the scoring, but her defense and the trust that we were able to have in her because of that. She guarded up, she guarded guards. Beck was really, really big for us tonight. The bench as a whole was really big for us tonight. Stokes really did a great job, holding Liz down from really having a breakout game like she's capable of doing. And, she just made it hard. She made it difficult. And she was so consistent with her physicality and getting to the spots early. Obviously, it's like we talked about before the game, you're not going to stop Liz or Asia. You just try to force them into tough shots and contest and hope it goes your way.
Appreciate your time and insight. Thank you, Coach.
Roger Rubin.
I got a couple for you. The first one is about the fourth quarter. You had 5, I think, possessions where you could have tied the game. And you had 4 missed 3-pointers and a turnover on them. How do you think it might have affected the game if you guys had actually caught them?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I can appreciate the question, but the hypotheticals are just it's really hard to know. That Vegas is a tough team too. I think, anybody watching basketball or, sports in general knows that momentum can drastically affect a game, and tying the score, taking a lead can really do something mentally for a team. But it's really hard for me to, infer what might have happened.
And the other thing I was going to ask you is, how did you feel about the quality of those possessions?
I have to go back and watch them, to be honest, and see what we missed. I know that anything that ends for us in a semi or uncontested 3-pointer is generally going to be a good shot. I know one of those was Sab's. And again, I have to go back and watch. I think Sab might have landed on a foot on one of those, and that happened twice. I don't think you're allowed to be in somebody's landing space, but they were allowed to do that tonight. And again, I would just have to go and look, but I know that us generating quality looks from 3 is a good thing. I'd have to look to see if they were quality looks.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Portland Griffin.
Can you hear me, Coach?
I can.
This is Coach Griffin with the 3-point conversion. You guys showed really good fight. Beck Allen had a pretty good game today. There was a lot of good defense, a lot of good things to take away from this. What were some key points that you can use going forward?
Yeah, we talked a lot about our fight and our pace, the way that we attacked in transition. Vegas is a really good transition team, and they only had 6 fast break points on 1 of 10. We had 17 fast break points on 6 of 13, and us getting stops and flying up the court was really the difference in the game for us. Once we kind of bought into that and were able to get those stops, I thought it totally changed the tenor of the game. And the key takeaways, as we talked after the game, were primarily focused on the fight, the fight in those 3 quarters, 2, 3, and 4, versus the way that we came out in the first. And, you know, it's not horrible, but this league is too damn good. You cannot come out without an edge, because any team in the league can put up 30, 35 points on you in a quarter if you don't come out and execute and play with passion. And I just thought it was lacking in that first quarter. And I don't know why, but I'm very, very proud of the way that they fought and found ways to get back into this game and cut it to 2 or 3, whatever it was, pretty late in the game. You know, this team is really, really tough, but the way that we start games is definitely going to be a focus, and has been a focus, but will continue to be one in the coming days.
Thank you, Coach.
Last question, Miles Ehrlich.
Hey, Coach. After that frenetic pace to start, you guys really did get into your rhythm and turn the ball over only 11 times today. For a team that can force the turnover and also likes to play the pace, they're at their own pace. It felt like after the first quarter, you really did play your style of basketball a lot more. Could you just talk a little bit about what the second unit especially did for that lift to get you kind of back after that slow start?
Yeah, I think the thing that stood out to me, and what I told the team in the huddle at some point in the second quarter, I think, was that it was the best I had seen us attack mismatches. And it was the best I had seen us get out in transition and get into dominoes. We call it dominoes, you know, getting the defense in rotations and finding the open player. I think, obviously, you know, getting into the paint consistently. And, you know, I've got to go back and look and see how many of the shot attempts that we took, you know, could have resulted in free throws. Certainly some, but in all, I think the aggression, the unselfishness, the energy, the pace was very much who we want to be on both ends, you know, and that's something definitely to be excited about. It's a great question, Miles.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Coach. Next up, we have Rebecca Allen. Please raise your hands if you have questions. First question, Karina Mustafa.
Hi, Beck, Karina from Venus Sports. So you did get into a great shooting rhythm tonight in the second quarter. Can you talk a little bit about how you look for your shots?
I guess you just got to be ready at every moment. You don't know how the defense is going to play you, and it's just, you know, being shot ready and just making the right reads.
Thank you.
Next question, Gigi Spear.
Hi, great game tonight. So you were all over the ball tonight, forcing steals, forcing turnovers, making things happen, being an absolute offensive force. And I was just wondering, what keeps that fire lit for 4 quarters for you?
I mean, the will to win, I guess. We want to come out with the game at the end. And tonight it didn't happen for us, unfortunately. But, I mean, we fought extremely hard. It was an intense game, and it came down to those last few minutes. But I know that everyone fought really hard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jackie Powell.
Hey, Beck. The team was down 20 at one point, and then you came in and you scored 9 in a row. What were you seeing on the bench before you came in, and how were you able to come in and make the proper adjustments to get the offense going?
I'll be honest, I came into this game just wanting to play like me. I just wanted to play with energy, I guess, is a big word that I wanted to use, and I felt like I brought that today. Sometimes it's to focus on the defense first, and then hopefully the offense comes. But I know in the second that I did hit quite a few shots in a row, which was good for the team. But as you can see throughout the game, everyone has their moments.
Right. And so you guys go up against Connecticut on Saturday.
Yeah.
What do you think is the key to starting well against them, since in the past 2 games you guys have struggled with, coming out with those punches in the first quarter?
Yeah, exactly right. It's all, our focus needs to be on how we start games for sure. And it's coming out with that sense of energy from the get-go and playing. When we're playing fast and we're moving the ball ahead, it's a pretty beautiful game to watch. So I just think that if we start the game with our sort of a rhythm, and we did it in the first couple of games of the season. So it's just getting back to it. It's not like we don't know how to do it. We have, but I think just in the last 2, we've sort of lost that start, like you said, punching first. But I know that we'll be able to find it.
Thanks, Beck. I appreciate it.
Roger Rubin.
Hey, when you guys got it down to 3 points in the fourth quarter, you had several opportunities where you had a possession where you could have tied the game. On one of them, you had a 3-point look. How did you feel about the quality of the look that you had on that shot?
I mean, with every shot, you got the same thoughts, like you're trying to make sure you got your hands and your feet ready and set. Sometimes it goes in, sometimes it doesn't, but no game is decided on one possession. That's just one big thing that you have to know. And don't get me wrong, some of the options, they were great and they didn't hit, but that's how the game goes in moments. But it's a good thing to know that you're getting to the right positions and we're getting the shots that we want to get.
And I was going to say, you guys had all of this sort of momentum as you were charging back into the game. Do you think that if you had caught them on any of those possessions where you could have tied the game, that it might have carried over into a very different outcome?
I mean, there's a lot of things you can look at. I mean, a big one that I would love to look at is the difference in free throws, the numbers. I think that's a big thing too. So maybe we weren't being aggressive enough. I'm not sure. That's a question for maybe someone else as well. But I mean, I don't think it comes down to just tying it in one shot. As I said before, there's so many factors to a game.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff Magliochetti.
Beck, thank you for joining us. You and Nay Odom, when you guys came off the bench tonight, it seemed to change the course of this ball game. So how great was it to have Nay back in the lineup working with you?
Yeah, I mean, how brilliant was that? She came in, got a steal, a block, hit her shots. She's great. She's great to watch. And you can just see, like, as she's come back off her little injury that she's been dealing with, to come out with that sort of energy really gave everyone such a lift. So I'm excited to see what's going to come in the next couple of games for her.
And this is actually your first time playing with her, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So, what are your impressions working with her so far? And do you see any of some of perhaps your talent in her, perhaps?
Well, I would just say she's a great teammate, a great person to have around the team, giving everyone confidence and all of that, especially when she wasn't able to be on the court, giving feedback to each other. So I think that's a really good, a good quality in her, but also just her athleticism. I've seen her in a couple of practices and her ability to get to the rim and then change her shots in the air. It's exciting to watch.
Appreciate your time and insight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Miles Ehrlich.
Hi, Beck. Today, the bench put up 23 points, and you talked a little bit about the energy from the starting unit at the beginning, but just how proud are you of just the entire bench effort between you and, like Jeff was asking about, Nay Odom and Kia Stokes, and even the minutes you got from Jazz and Didi?
Yeah, I mean, Kia Stokes, I haven't looked at any of the stats or anything, and I know some of the efforts that she does isn't on the stat sheet. The way that she defended was incredible tonight, and she was going against Liz for a lot of the game, and that's an intense matchup, and she really kept her out of the game for quite a lot of it, playing physical, But But in terms of the bench, like we've been saying every game, we've got depth. This team has depth. And as long as we come out and we play with energy and sort of, I guess, more desire than the other team, I mean, we're in a really good spot.
Cortland Griffin.
Hey, Beck, this is Cortland Griffin with the 3-point conversion. It seemed like there wasn't a shot that you were scared to take tonight. Was that a concerted effort on your end to just be aggressive and try to get the team back into the game?
Yeah, I mean, I did make a real effort just to play like me tonight, you know, to play without thinking is something I don't know if you've heard many athletes say before, because I think that's when you start playing with feelings more so. And also, I think that each game I'm learning the offense better. I'm learning what we're wanting to get from different options. So some of it is also just feeling more comfortable within the sets that we're running.
And also on the defensive end, the last couple of games, for sure, you've ramped up the intensity and kind of been a spark plug off the bench for the defensive side of the ball. Is that also something that you are making an effort to do?
Yeah, I mean, that's something, honestly, that I'm really proud of and I'm happy is noticed. I put a lot of effort into my defense over the years and being able to, I guess, defend sometimes the point guard to a big, you know. So I think showing versatility and showing is playing a physical style of defense in moments and as well as playing the guards. So I put a lot of time and energy into that.
Thank you for your insight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beck. Next up, we have Nate Odom.
Brilliant.
First question, Jeff Magliochetti.
Nay, thank you for joining us. Congratulations on making your debut. Cliche as it sounds, how did it feel to be back on a WNBA game court tonight? What was the emotion and how did it feel to come in and immediately make a difference through a huge block on Chelsea Gray to open the second quarter?
I'd say I was really excited to be out there, just to go out there and, you know, compete with my teammates. And it was just fun to be back.
You know, it's a brand new lineup, not entirely brand new, of course, but it's a new lineup you're working with out there. So many new veterans out there. What do you personally bring to this lineup right now? And do you think you brought that kind of energy tonight?
Yeah, just to spark off the bench, you know, defensive presence. And I think I showed that immediately as soon as I stepped on the court.
Appreciate your time and insight. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Jackie Powell.
Hey, Nate, good to see you. Congrats on coming back and starting strong. You had the confidence to take that three. You know, that was something that you struggled with in the wobble. Can you talk to us a little bit about, you know, what you worked on in the off season to get to a point where, you know, you're given the ball in the wing and you just drain that three?
Yeah, I just worked on shooting constantly. I didn't go overseas, so it was really a big emphasis to work on my shot. And yeah, I was open, took the shot, went in.
Right. And so Sabrina has looked a little flat in the past couple of games. So I'm curious from a teammate perspective, you know, what can you do to take some pressure off of her? And what did you think Vegas did well to limit what she was able to do?
It's a team sport. I mean, people are going to have good nights, bad nights. So, you know, we're all trying to pick her up and that's what we're going to do. I mean, she doesn't have to, you know, be that GOAT player every night like everyone expects her to. You know, even big name players have off nights, so we just got to pick her up.
Thanks so much, Nay. Welcome back.
Miles Ehrlich.
Hi, Nay. Great to see you back. Just a little bit of a perspective question, but this was your first pro game outside of the wobble and in a large WNBA arena. And were there any butterflies? Because the first play you came down, you got a block immediately on defense. Did that kind of help you settle in, or were you coming into today's game?
No butterflies. I mean, it's just I was a little nervous just to even play, just from being back from an injury and all that. But I don't. It's just a game. It's just basketball. It wasn't too much. Nothing too serious.
Cortland Griffin.
Hello, Nate. This is Cortland Griffin with three-point conversion. Tonight, it didn't seem like you were nervous at all to be on the court. You came in and you just kind of fit into the flow of the game. Is that something that, like, you know, you've been like itching to do, and did the jitters go away after your first sequence?
Yeah, I literally could not wait to get back on the court. I've never been out for this long, this amount of time. I hadn't had an injury before, so it was really just nice to be back on the court.
And to piggyback off of the three-point shot, like once you did that, once you drained that shot, you ran back up the floor, and it was almost like a weight had been lifted off your shoulders. How did that feel to see that shot go in?
I was just hoping I made it. You know, I just wanted to be able to, you know, hit the three for the team. And I knew if I hit this, then, you know, we would be within three. So just wanted to do that.
Alex Strum.
Welcome back.
Hi, Nate.
Alex Strum.
Oh, sorry. Hi, it's nice to meet you. Obviously, this being your season debut, what were kind of your first impressions of just being out there with the squad?
You know, I got to practice with them a little bit this week, so I already know what they're capable of. I've been watching it for seven games, and you know, I was just really excited to be out there. It's such a good team. We're such a great team. Like, it's just really exciting to be out there and the things that we can do. I mean, this game, you know, doesn't really depict our abilities, but I think next game we'll be able to bounce back.
And just like Walt said, pre and post game, you're not going to be able to completely shut them down.
Mm-hmm.
But I found that, or we all found that you guys did a relatively good job on the Aces down low. How were you able to sustain that kind of energy on the defensive end?
You just got to be more physical. I mean, they're a very physical team, and you just got to out physical them. And so that was our game plan, and we just tried to do that as best as possible.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nay. Next up, we have Michaela Onyenwere. Jeff Magliochetti.
Michaela, thank you for joining us. What can you say about the resiliency of this squad after a game like tonight?
I think we see it after every single game. Obviously, we don't want to put ourselves in the position where we are having to fight back, but when we are put in those positions, we just, like you said, we continue to be really resilient. And it just shows how much fight we have as a team, as a unit. And our coaches and my team, we never stop believing in one another. And so that just goes a long way, obviously, down like 14 really early in the game, and then to come back and make it a one possession game late in the fourth was really pivotal for, you know, even having a chance to win the game. So that just says a lot about, you know, who we are as a team, what we can do when we come together.
On that note, we're almost a quarter of the way through the regular season. You guys seem to develop a bit of a reputation where no game is ever truly over with this squad, where you guys have been able to make up some big deficits early on. So how does it feel to establish such a reputation this early in the season?
I mean, ideally, we don't want that reputation just because we want to come out and kind of knock the first punch. Like, that's something that we really want to focus on and emphasize on. And so we don't want to be in the positions where we are having to claw back. Obviously, like you said, it does say a lot about our resiliency, but that's not something that we want to do. We want to just kind of make that first punch, come out really, really hard. And we didn't tonight. And I think that it kind of bit us in the butt a little bit.
Fair enough. Thank you for your time and insight.
Thank you.
Jackie Powell.
Hey, Michaela, thanks for being here with us. Bouncing off a little bit of what Jeff said, you guys go up against Connecticut on Saturday, and I'm curious as to what the key is to starting well against them, since in these past two games against Vegas and Atlanta, that's been a problem where you guys can't start the first quarter with that punch.
I think it really just starts in practice, just kind of coming in with the mindset of being really, really locked in and really focused. And I think that is definitely going to carry over. Obviously, we have a really quick turnaround, but Connecticut's a great team. Right now, they're playing really, really well. And so that's going to have to be super, super important for us to just, stay focused in practice tomorrow and do what we can to stay locked in, especially for a game of this caliber.
Right. And so I'm curious, how did the lack of pick and roll play from Vegas, affect you guys? Did it take you out of your element at all?
I wouldn't say so. I think going in, we had a very clear plan about our game plan. Obviously, Asia's a great player. She ended up going off, but I feel like on the defensive end, we, besides the first quarter, we did really, really well. And I think we outscored them almost every single quarter, and we actually won the second half. And so we were able to execute when we were able to lock in. But like I said earlier, just that first quarter kind of bit us in the butt.
And what did you learn, or what do you take away from guarding both Liz and Asia in one game?
I think knowing tendencies and knowing personnel is so important. Obviously, Asia, MVP caliber, obviously. But just knowing kind of like little nuances of their game is so important. And that's why film and scouting and knowing the scouting report is just so important. I think that when we had success on Asia and Cambage, we were really locking into what we had learned in practice and in the scouting report. And that's just a testament to, our coaches watching a lot of film, just having the scout ready for us to be able to study those players. So that's definitely something that's so important at this level.
Thanks so much, Michaela. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Gigi Spear.
Hi, Michaela. Thank you for being with us. Gigi Spear of WFUV News. You scored the first bucket of the game tonight and the first WNBA bucket this season. And I'm just wondering, besides leading by example, how have you seen your leadership style change since coming to the league this year?
That's a good question. I think my leadership style is still developing. I think as a rookie, I'm just coming in and trying to be a sponge in every single way I can. And we already really have great vets and great leaders on this team. So I'm just trying to soak in everything that I can.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Miles Ehrlich.
Hi, Michaela. First of all, I haven't spoken to you since you won that Rookie of the Month, so congratulations on that. You had another double-digit game today, and you especially had one play where you drove and then had a spin move where you hit a shot over both Liz Cambage and Asia Wilson. On the other side, obviously, Asia was difficult to guard. And could you just talk a little bit about that matchup and what it was like going up against someone who could back you down to the post, but also just hit from that mid-range, and just what you learned from that experience, especially going forward into another versatile front court in Connecticut?
Yeah, just, Asia is a really great player. Like I said, really, really MVP caliber. And so just having to have that matchup obviously was pretty difficult, but just knowing personnel and just knowing just kind of her moves beforehand was really, really important. And that's what you have to do with players like that. Obviously, she had a really big game against us, but we try to make it as hard as we can, as tough as we could, pushing out her catches, making her take tough shots. And over the course of the game, that's going to really tire her out. I think she had 20 something at half, and I think she ended with 30, which is obviously 30 points is obviously massive, but just to keep her, under double digits in the second half was super important for us.
Thank you.
Alex Strum.
Hi, Michaela. It's nice to talk to you. I as well also wanted to congratulate you on the Rookie of the Month award.
Thank you.
What were your thoughts of Naodum tonight in her season debut with the team?
Yeah, she killed it. I'm really excited that everybody was able to see what we've been seeing in practice from her this year. Obviously, she wasn't the healthiest, but to see her, flourish in the minutes that she had was really, really nice. And she gave us big spark, big energy, big minutes. It was 3 from 3 for the field goal. And so she's just so important for our team. And even when she was out, though, like you never saw a drop off from her and her energy. She was always cheering on the bench, always being such a great teammate. And so just see her, get on the floor, get some minutes, and just help us out was really, really cool. And I'm proud of her. I'm excited to see how she continues to grow as a player.
And so this is now the first losing streak for you guys this year with 2 in a row. Was the message in the locker room afterwards any different with coach or any of the veterans trying to get you out of this skid?
I don't think we're too worried about that right now. Obviously, there's some certain things that we have to, work on to continue to move forward and get back in the W column. But no, the message was not different. They're very consistent, whether we lose or we win. And I think that's what's so important is like we knew we didn't start the way we needed to start. But that's something that we can control and come back and get better from.
Thank you.
Jonathan Lehman.
Hi, Michaela. Earlier, Coach Hopkins said that he doesn't think that Sabrina's mobility is all the way there still, I guess, coming back from her injury. Is that something that you've noticed as well, or something you've been able to pick up on as practice or on the court with her?
I can't really speak too much to that, to be completely honest.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Michaela, and thank you all for joining. We will send post-game notes and the recording shortly. Thanks.